So Rachel talked about a number of things. Let me just pick up some of the headline issues. First of all, as has been said, all public services have had a tough time over the past 10 years. And since 2010, nationally, police budgets have been cut by £2.3 billion. That's a 25% cut. 80% of the budget is spent on officers and staff, and that's why nationally police numbers have gone down very significantly indeed. They've gone down by 22,000, and that's a 25% cut again. And police numbers were at the lowest level for 30 years. But together with lots and lots of people, we've been working really hard to try and get extra resources and money into the police. The Home Secretary, if he was here, would say, and he's right, in the current year, the police budget nationally is increasing by about £1 billion. And that's not really as a result of extra grant from government. It's because doing the kind of work that Mike was talking about earlier on, people have said to us, we're prepared to pay more provided we see more police officers. And that's precisely what we've been trying to do here in Nottinghamshire. The council tax has gone up, the police element of the council tax has gone up, and it's enabled us to recruit more officers. We're recruiting faster here in Nottinghamshire than anywhere else in the country, save perhaps for Humberside, and there's a big recruitment process going on at the moment, and it'll take a little time because you've got to learn how to do a job before we see the dividends. But police numbers here in Nottinghamshire 3 or 4 years ago were projected to go down to 1,650. Today, police numbers stand at 2,024 and will increase again into the future. And the essential point that Rachel was talking about is how best to use those officers. And we've taken the view locally that keeping neighbourhood teams going is important, and we have done. But they're thinner and they're cover wider areas than they have done in the past. But the extra money has given us the opportunity to reinforce the neighbourhood offer. And one of the things that people in the room say to me is, we don't talk to the officers and PCSOs in our areas enough, and we're working on that. And again, Rachel talked about that a little bit. We're in a position later on this year or next year to bring forward proposals around new and better IT systems. We're not really in a position at the moment where you can send us webcam stuff over the lines. You can do, but it's not really satisfactory. We're going to improve that. So getting out and talking to people really is important to us. We survey people, 2,000 people every 2 months, so we've got a good understanding of what people really want. And I guess the issue that really is on my mind at the moment, and certainly on the minds of the government and the press, is knife crime. Very pleased we've got Richard McRae here, councillor from Broxtowe, who's been pushing us quite hard on this issue. We've got extra money available, about £3 million available to tackle knife crime this year, and you'll see more police officers on the streets. But what we've got to try and persuade people to do is that it doesn't make any sense at all to carry a knife. And we've got to get that message out there, and we're working really quite hard on doing that. And I think the important thing is to get the messaging right. People are worried, and rightly worried, about the incidents of knife crime, but we just need to kind of remember the facts. And the facts are that knife crime growth here in Nottinghamshire is lower in the rest of the country. that Nottinghamshire Police are one of the only 2 police forces in the country who have a dedicated knife crime team. And you know you're in trouble if you're stopped by them because their success rate is 60%. So out of every 10 stops they make, they're stopping 6 people properly. And I'm really pleased to be able to say to you that knife crime has gone up, but it looks like in London that it's stabilised and going down. But the essential message I wanted to make was that you're more chance of being injured in a car accident, in a vehicle accident in Nottingham, than you have been attacked on the streets. And I think we've really got to get this message across, that there is a problem, there's a real problem, and we're working on it, but it's not the significance of it. 50% of all knife crime isn't on the streets, it's in people's homes. It's when relatives and friends fall out. And again, getting that message across and working, we've got partners here from the local authorities, working with them around domestic violence really is important to us going forward. So, we're on the case. But although police numbers have gone up, in total, there's just over 4,000 people work for Nottinghamshire Police, and the population of Nottingham and Nottinghamshire is about 1.2 million. So it's really quite important, as we're doing with knife crime, is to say to people, this isn't just a problem for the police, it's a problem for all of us. And that all of us working together can make a difference. So let me give you one example, talking about knife crime again. Very worried about young black men carrying knives, but we're working quite hard with black parents and the black communities to say to them, this is your problem too, and you've got to help us resolve it. And that notion that all of us are responsible for tackling crime is so important. And that's why I think today's meeting is so important, because in a sense, Neighbourhood Watch is rebranding itself and talking about building those partnerships and those strong partnerships. And the sign of a strong partnership is a sign of a good marriage. You have your rows, you have your disagreements, but you sort it out going forward. And we're really keen to have a strong third sector voluntary organisation who's challenging us a bit and saying, this is important to us in our area. You need to listen to us. And having extra resources and working hard with other partners like the local authorities, like the NHS, gives us that opportunity to take those challenges and make those changes. Because what brings us together today is quite straightforward. All of us are here because we want to make a difference. We want to change things. And I don't think that's a lot to ask.